Well, to quote Grant Cardone, I'm not a candle, I can't burn out. But that is that is a great analogy. I mean, but you guys, I'm on this podcast and my life is in fucking turmoil right now. Like, I mean, like I lost my house 3 days ago to a hurricane. Like I have nowhere to live right now. I'm sleeping in a hotel. Like, so it's like, but like, and maybe this is my personality and this is how like, you know, and just for context for people listening, like last week we had a massive hurricane, like, but prior to the hurricane, I had 3 filming schedules booked and a podcast. So like, and then for context, it was Brandon Carter invited me on his live podcast last week. Which is huge. So I knew that this is a massive opportunity for me and my business. So, and we also needed to film with Brandon. He's a client and a friend of mine on Wednesday. So Tuesday of last week, I was going to do his live podcast Tuesday night, his podcast on Wednesday, or his podcast on Tuesday night, and we were going to film with him all day Wednesday. Wednesday night, we were going to fly from Miami to Texas. You know, I booked the flights for me, Luis, and Ariana, my operator. And then all day Thursday, we work with the Credit Brothers, their clients. We were going to film with them from 10 to 7-ish. And then on Friday, we were going to film with our another client, Lauren Tickner. Like, and Lauren is the one that we've been having a hard time with her account. So, like, I knew that Friday was a pivotal day for us. Like, we needed to come correct. You know, now Monday or Sunday, Monday, we find out there's a massive hurricane coming for Florida. Yeah. Now I'm like, okay, all the flights are booked, and I've been through many hurricanes in my life. I'm like, well, you know, I mean, let's just hope this isn't a big deal. It stays offshore, which, you know, but they canceled all flights on Tuesday. Or on Monday, they canceled all the flights. Yeah. So I had to make the call to be like, okay, one, I have a family, a daughter, and a fiance. So I'm like, okay, let me make sure they're going to go with a friend of mine to, you know, 2 hours away. They're going to evacuate because I'm in a mandatory evacuation zone. I live on the water. So we had to evacuate. And I was like, okay, I had to make the call. Do I go, do I drive now to Miami, change our flights now to come? Because I was originally going to fly to Miami and then fly home to Tampa on Saturday, you know, with Luis and Ariana, my team. Well, I was like, okay, well, I know that they just canceled all the flights for 2 days out of Tampa, so it's going to be a nightmare getting out of Tampa, but the hurricane doesn't even affect Miami right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to fly in and out of Miami without a problem. So I switched our flights out of Miami, you know, and I was going to fly back to Miami and drive home on Saturday. So that's how, like, last week started, you know, like, so we drove through the hurricane going to Brandon's podcast on Tuesday. You know, it wasn't that bad. I don't want to think like I'm some crazy person. It was rain, like, you know, the hurricane, but it was weather, you know, and I was basing it off of, well, you know, hurricanes have grazed us in the past. Like, I'm not going to, you know, I did my hurricane prep. I'm going to, like, hope that it works, but I still have a job to do. Brandon we still need to go film. Like, he needs his content. He's paying me a lot of money per month, you know, so, you know, Tuesday we drove down there. I did the podcast Tuesday night as if, you know, life is not in chaos, you know, and, you know, but in the back of my mind, I'm worried about my family. I'm worried about, like, my house. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. We ate dinner. I woke up Wednesday, you know, as if another day we have to film with Brandon starting at 10 a.m. I went to do my CrossFit workout in Miami at, like, 7:30 in the morning or 7:15, whatever the time it was. And at the end of my CrossFit workout, I get a text from my next-door neighbor that my house is completely underwater.
Jesus.
Like, I'm like literally, I looked at it. I live in Florida. I know my house is fucked. Yeah. I'm like, yep, this is hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. Like, I looked at all my hurricane barriers. They floated away. I was like, none of my shit. Like, we didn't pull shit off the floor, and I've only owned my house for less than 6 months. Damn, like, I showed up at 10 a.m. to film Brandon with my team. Knowing that. And Brandon, I texted Brandon, like, I obviously told Brandon, like, a little bit, like, hey, I'm kind of dealing with this right now. Like, you know, that's why I, you know, had a team to rely on, like, you know. But Brandon, like, I texted Brandon the next day. So I neglected to go on the rest of the trip. I drove home to meet my family. Obvious reasons, like, Luis and Ariana, like, they went and filmed with the other clients. But, you know, if it wasn't for my family, if it was just me, I would have gone to film and I would have dealt with it when I get back. Yeah. Like, I've always been like, if I say I'm going to, that's like when you texted me, you're like, do you still want to do this? Like, I had every reason to say no.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Like, but no, it's like, one, this is routine. This is solace. This is, like, keeps me normal. And also, it's good for my business. Like, and I've definitely learned in the last week that the one thing that makes everything better is more money. Yeah. So if I can generate revenue off my content, which I can, I need to do it more now, not less. You know. So when it comes to, like, the thought of burnout, like, I don't have the luxury to burn out.